Democracy in Pakistan. During the last 72 years, democracy has been a roller coaster ride in Pakistan. There has been several attempts of military coups in Pakistan since 1951. The military adventuralists like Ayub Khan, 1958 to 1969, Yahya Khan, 1969 to 1971, Zia ul Haq, 1977 to 1988, sneaked into corridors of power and ruled General Pervez Musharraf 1999 unconstitutionally. Yes, democracy was set up in Pakistan under the rule of many leaders like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto 1971 to 1977, again in 1988 by her daughter Benazir Bhutto. After that, Nawaz Sharif, time and then some intervals, military overshared Pakistan democracy. There has been an article reform bill passed in Pakistan constituency in 2017. Process of democracy was again and again derailed in Pakistan. But since July 2018, the parliamentary elections brought to power the former cricketer Imran Khan. Thank you.
The eighth most populous country in the world was earlier known as East Pakistan. But how did it become Bangladesh then? Let's go and find out. In 1947, during the negotiations surrounding independence and the partition of British India, the Muslims demanded a separate nation for themselves, thus dividing India into West Pakistan and East Pakistan, thus the name East Pakistan. But how did it become Bangladesh? So, East Pakistan was in an odd position, separated from West Pakistan proper by a 1,000-mile stretch of India. It was also divided by ethnicity and language. For 24 years, East Pakistan struggled under financial and political neglect. Between 1958 1962 and from 1969 to 1971, East Pakistan was under marital law. In the parliamentary elections of 1970 to 1971, East Pakistan's Army League won every single seat allotted to East. Talks between the two Pakistans failed, and on March 27, 1971, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared Bangladesh independence from Pakistan. The Pakistan fought to stop the cession, but India sent troops to support Bangladesh. On January 11, 1972, Bangladesh became an independent parliamentary democracy. But what about now? So, the People Republic of Bangladesh is a parliamentary democracy with the president as a chief of state and prime minister as the head of government.
The history of Nepal starts from the Gurkha king Prithvi Narayan Shah, who united 46 independent principalities to form the Kingdom of Nepal. He moved the capital to Kathmandu and established the Shah dynasty, which ruled from 1769 to 2008. He proclaimed Nepal as Asal Hindustan, the real land of Hindus, due to North India being ruled by the Islamic Mughal rulers. He also referred to the rest of northern India as Mughlan. Shah is commonly considered as the father of the nation in Nepal. The Anglo-Nepalese War, also known as the Gurkha War, was fought between the Gorkhali army and the British forces of East India Company over the hilly region in the north of the subcontinent. The war lasted for 2 years and ended with the Treaty of Sugauli. During the mid-19th century, Jang Bahadur Rana became Nepal's first prime minister. In 1959, King Mahendra issued a new constitution and the first democratic elections, but in 1960 he changed his mind and dissolved the parliament. Due to popular struggle, King Birendra accepted constitutional reforms and established a multi-party parliament. In May 1991, Nepal held its first parliamentary election. On 1st June 2001, 9 members of the royal family, including King Birendra and Queen Aishwarya, were assassinated. The Nepali government was abolished in 2002 by King Gyanendra but was soon restored in 2006 due to large-scale protests. On 10th April 2008, Constituent Assembly elections were held, and finally on 28th May 2008, Nepal abolished monarchy. Today, Nepal has a president, Vidya Devi Bhandari, and a prime minister, Sher Bahadur Dabba.
Sri Lanka has been admired in ethnic conflict since the country, formerly known as Ceylon, became independent from British rule in 1948. A 2001 government census Sri Lanka's main ethnic populations are the Sinhalese 82%, Tamil 9.4% and Sri Lanka Moor 7.9%. In the years following independence, the Sinhalese, who resented favoritism towards Tamils during the colonial period, disenfranchised Tamil migrant plantation workers from India and made Sinhala the only official language. In 1972, the Sinhala changed the country's name from Ceylon and made Buddhism the nation's primary religion. As ethnic conflict grew in 1976, the LTTE, that is Liberation Tigers Tamil Eelam, was formed under the leadership of Vellupillai Prabhakaram, and it began to campaign for a Tamil homeland in northern and eastern Sri Lanka, where most of the island's Tamils reside. In 1988, the LTT ambushed an army convoy, killing 13 soldiers and triggering riots in which 2,500 Tamils died. So we have witnessed that India is a home to more than 60 million of the world's 77 million Tamils, while about 4 million lives in Sri Lanka. Now, the relationship between India and Sri Lanka is more than 2,500 years old. Both the countries have a legacy of intellectual, cultural, religious, and linguistic interaction. In recent years, the relationship has been marked by close contacts at all levels. Trade and investment have grown, and there is cooperation in the fields of infrastructure development, education, culture, and defense. In recent years, significant process and implementation of development assistance projects has further cemented the bonds of friendship between the two countries. The nearly three-decade-long armed conflict between the Sri Lankan forces and the LTTE came to an end in May 2009. In June 2019, the first overseas visit of Indian Prime Minister to Sri Lanka in his second term is an important symbolic gesture reflective of the special relationship between the two countries. Recently, India has invited leaders of BIMSTEC member countries to attend the swearing-in of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Council of Ministers.
After independence, two sovereign nations were formed, India and Pakistan. They established diplomatic relations, but violent partitions and numerous territorial claims overshadowed their relationship. 3 major wars, numerous armed skirmishes, and military standoffs took place. First was the War of 1947, which took place over the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. The result was the accession of Jammu Kashmir in India. Second War of 1965 started following Pakistan's Operation Gibraltar, designed to infiltrate forces in Jammu Kashmir to precipitate an insurgency against India. This was ended by the signing of Tashkent Agreement. Bangladesh Liberation War was fought in 1971 following a crisis in East Pakistan, resulting in the creation of Bangladesh. An undeclared war was fought between them, which is known as the Kargil War of 1999, in Kargil district along the line of control. Present issues are as follows: Siachen conflict, Kashmir insurgency, Sirk Creek in Gujarat, cross-border terrorism, issue of Balochistan, and the sharing of Indus water. But even after so many conflicts, various initiatives has been taken, like the Shimla Agreement of 1972 to put an end to the conflicts and confrontations that has degraded the relationship, Lahore Summit of 1999 and Agra Summit of 2001. We sincerely hope that the relations between India and Pakistan becomes friendly and we both work towards restoring humanity.
The South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation came into existence in 1980 at the initiation of former Bangladesh, who wanted to highlight many problems that are being faced in the South Asian country. After consultations with the foreign secretaries and the foreign ministers, they adopted the declaration on SARC. It was founded in Dhaka in 19. Its members are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Pakistan. The main purpose was to promote welfare of the people of South Asia, collective self-reliance, promote active collaborations and mutual assistance and cooperation with international and regional organizations. There have been many summits, but the biggest challenge faced by SARC is the Indo-Pakistan. The tension and the conflict between these two countries have severely hampered the prospects of the SARC. And the cross-border terrors blocking connectivity and obstructing trades are the key challenges to it too. The real problem is considered the charter of SARC that ignores the discussion of political and bilateral issues cannot be discussed in SARC, but since the organization relies on the principle of unanimity for all major discussions. For example, SARC Motor Vehicle Agreement. The tragedy of COVID-19 may provide an opportunity for India to demonstrate its compassionate face to secure a region at peace with itself. This emergency fund is a step in receiving dysfunctional till now, is a reiteration of India's prompt and decisive support to the neighbors at the time of facing natural disaster. However, the dream of new South Asia requires much more diplomatic and political will.